Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet this very easy blanket which can be made in any size and is perfect for beginners. So for my blanket I used a 4mm crochet hook, and in this video I'm using US terms. So thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, you want to take your yarn and you want to take your finger and you want to wrap the yarn around your finger once and then twice. Then take the first loop and pull it over the second loop, and then take the second loop and pull it all the way over your finger. You then want to take your crochet hook, go in through this space and pull tight. And there you have a slip knot. So once you have your slip knot, you now want to make your foundation chain. And you can make your foundation chain as long or as short as you like. And the longer you make your foundation chain, the wider your blanket will be. But your foundation chain must be an odd number. So you can chain whatever you like as long as it is an odd number. And I'm making a baby blanket and I'm going to chain 95. So I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 95. Okay, so I have just finished making my foundation chain, and I actually ended up chaining 115. I chained 95 and I didn't feel that it would be wide enough, so I added an extra 20 stitches on and chained 115, and I'm now ready to move on to row 1 of my blanket. So for row 1 of our blanket, we're going to be doing a plain row of single crochets. So we're going to work 1 single crochet into every single chain along for row 1. So we're going to start off by working into the second chain from the hook. So here is the first chain from the hook, and here is the second chain from the hook, and into this chain we are going to work our very first single crochet. So to do a single crochet, you want to insert your hook into the chain, so the second chain from the hook, then yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So that is 1 single crochet, and we're going to do that into every single stitch along. So I'm going to go into the next stitch and do the same thing. So insert my hook into the next chain along, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and the one after that, and just repeat this all the way along for row 1. 1 single crochet into each chain. Okay, so I have just finished working row 1 of our blanket, and that was 1 single crochet into each stitch across, and this is what I have. And at the end of this row you should have 1 less stitch across than you chained. So I chained 125, and therefore I should have worked 124 single crochets across for row 1, and that is because we skipped the first chain at the very beginning when we went to work into the second chain. So I'm now ready to move on to row 2. So to begin row 2, I am going to chain 1 and turn. So chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So this is just going to allow us to turn around before we start row 2. So we are going to begin working in the very first stitch. If the chain 1 counted as a stitch, we would work into this one here. But as the chain 1 does not count as a stitch, we're going to work into the first stitch along. And into this stitch, we're going to work 1 single crochet. So we've chained 1 and turned, and we're now going to go into the first stitch and work a single crochet. So just like we did all the way along for row 1. And now into the next stitch, we're going to work a double crochet. So to do a double crochet, you yarn over and go into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops. So we did a single crochet into the first stitch and a double crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to repeat that all the way along for row 2. We're going to do single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet all the way along. So into the next stitch I'm going to work a single crochet, and when you work a single crochet it will sort of pull the double crochet down and make a pattern, a raised pattern. So that's single crochet, and into the next stitch we're going to do a double crochet. So to do a double crochet you yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops. Then we're going to do single crochet. Keep repeating that all the way along for row 2. Okay, so I'm just coming to the end of row 2, and I just wanted to show you that you need to be really careful not to go into the chain 1 that we skipped at the beginning. If you go into this stitch you will be adding in an extra stitch and you will have wonky edges to your blanket. So the last stitch that we are going to work is going to be a double crochet. As we started off with a single crochet, the last stitch should be a double crochet. And you want to yarn over and go into the last stitch here. This is the chain 1 and this is the last stitch. So it can sometimes look like you need to go into the chain 1 and work an extra stitch, but you don't. And you just need to make sure that you are finishing off on a double crochet. And once you have done that, this is what you should have, and we are ready to move on to row 3. So we are now on to row 3 of our blanket, and for row 3 and the rest of our blanket, so every other row, we are just going to repeat row 2. So for row 2 we chained 1 and turned, and then we worked single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet all the way along, and you want to repeat that row again and again and again and again, and that is just how simple this blanket is. So I'm going to move on to the next repeat. So this is row 3, and I'm going to start off by chaining 1 and then turning, and then into this first stitch here I'm going to work a single crochet, and you need to make sure that you are working your single crochets into the double crochets and then your double crochets into the single crochets. So the last stitch that we worked in the previous round was a double crochet, and therefore the first stitch that we are working in for this round should be the double crochet here, and into that stitch we are going to work a single crochet, and then the next stitch along is a single crochet, and into this one we are going to do a double crochet. And the next stitch along is a double crochet, and into that one we are going to do a single crochet, and so on. So just keep repeating row 2 again and again. So I'm going to go into the first stitch and work a single crochet, and then I'm going to go into the next stitch and work a double crochet. Then I'm going to do a single crochet into the next stitch along, and a double crochet into the next one, and just repeat that all the way along, and then repeat that row. And you should start every row with a single crochet and then end every row with a double crochet, and you need to make sure that you are not going into the chain 1 at the end of the row, and you should work the same number of stitches across as you worked in row 1. So that was 1 stitch less than we chained. Okay, so it has been a few days and I have worked the length of my blanket, so I just repeated that row again and again, and now I have the right size. And at the end of the final row I fastened off. So I pulled my yarn out and my hook and I cut my yarn, leaving a nice long tail to weave into my blanket later. And I am now ready to move on to my crochet border, and as you can see I have already started my border. So our border is going to be made up of 3 rows of single crochet. So we're going to do 3 rows of single crochet, and I have done each row in a different colour. So I have already started mine, but I will show you what I did and how to finish off the border and therefore finish off our blanket. Okay, so to start our border, we are going to start off by attaching a new colour. So the method that I use to attach a new colour now will be the method that I use to attach a new colour at the beginning of each round of my border. And this is a very secure method. So we're going to start off by doing a slip knot. So just like we did at the beginning of our blanket, so work a slip knot. And then we are going to choose a random stitch. So you want to choose a random stitch anywhere along your blanket, but not in the corners. So I'm going to choose this stitch here, and I'm going to insert my hook into the stitch. And then I'm going to take my new yarn, and this is both pieces of yarn, so the yarn coming from the ball and then also the straggler end or the tail, and I'm sort of going to place this around the back of my work so that I can pick both pieces up with my crochet hook and pull them through the stitch. So pick them up and pull them through. And you should now have 3 loops on your hook, and you want to take this last loop and this last loop only and pick this up and pull this over the end of the crochet hook. So you leave the other 2 loops on the hook and then pull tight. And there you have attached a new colour. And that is how we are going to start this round. So once you have attached a new colour, you now want to chain 1. And this attaching a new colour and chaining 1 counts as a chain 2. And the chain 2 counts as our first single crochet. So this counts as the single crochet for this stitch here. So we are now simply going to go into the next stitch and work a single crochet just as we have done throughout our blanket. And then we're going to work a single crochet into the next stitch. And you just want to do this all the way along. So just do 1 single crochet into every single stitch. And on 2 sides of your blanket, you will not be working into stitches. You will be working into the side of the rows. So when you are working into the side of the rows, you just want to single crochet evenly across the row. So just single crochet into the side of each row. So I have worked single crochets all the way around for round 1, and I haven't finished yet. So I'm just going to show you what I mean by working into the side of the rows. So 2 of the sides of our blankets are not going to have stitches across. We are going to be working into the side of the rows. So you just want to single crochet evenly into these stitches. So you want to go into the stitch or into the side of the stitch and work a single crochet, and then into the next stitch or into the side of the next stitch, work another single crochet, and then into the next one. And these can be a little tricky to get into, but once you've got into a few of them, it becomes a lot easier and you get used to it. So just work evenly along the side of the rows. Okay, so then when you come to the corner stitch, so when you come to a corner of your blanket, instead of working 1 single crochet into the corner stitch, you want to work 4 single crochets all into this stitch. So you want to come to the very corner, and this is actually where I started at the beginning, so I have my straggler end, and into this corner stitch we are going to work 4 single crochets, and this is going to allow us to create a nice neat corner. If we just worked 1 single crochet, your work would sort of pull together, and we don't want that. So we're going to go into this corner stitch and work 1 single crochet, and then a second, then a third, and then a fourth. And then you're just going to carry on working as normal. 1 single crochet into each stitch around, and you want to do this all the way around for round 1 of the border of your blanket. Okay, so I have just worked 1 single crochet into each stitch around and then 4 single crochets into the corner stitches for round 1 of the border of our blanket. And now to finish off this round, I'm going to do a slip stitch. So I have worked my final single crochet here, and then here is where we attached a new colour and chained 1, and this counted as our first single crochet. And into this stitch we are going to work a slip stitch. So here we have our attach a new colour, and here we have our chain 1, and you want to insert your hook into this chain 1 and then work a slip stitch. So to do a slip stitch, you simply pull the yarn through and then through again, and this is going to join the end and the beginning of this round. So we are now done with this colour as we have finished this round. So I'm going to pull my yarn out and my hook and fasten off. So I'm just going to cut my yarn, leaving a tail to weave in later, and we are ready to move on to round 2 of the border of our blanket. So we are now on to round 2, and we are going to start off round 2 in the same way as we started round 1. We're going to start off by attaching a new colour. So you want to take your new yarn and do a slip knot. So wrap the yarn around your finger twice, take the first loop and pull it over the second loop, and then take the second loop and pull it all the way over your finger. Insert your crochet hook through the space and pull tight, so just a plain slip knot. You then want to select any stitch along and go into this stitch. Take both pieces of yarn, the yarn coming from the ball and also the straggler end, and place these around the back. Then using your crochet hook, pick them up and pull them through, so both pieces. Then take this last loop here and pull this loop and this loop only over the end of your crochet hook and pull tight. And there we have attached a new colour. So round 2 is very simple. We are simply going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch around, and even when you come to the corners, you simply want to do 1 single crochet into each stitch. We are not doing 4 single crochets into the corner stitches anymore, just 1 single crochet into every single stitch along. So this round is even easier than round 1, as we don't have to work into the side of the stitches and we don't have to make the corners. So just do a single crochet into every single stitch. So we have attached a new colour, and we are now going to chain 1, and this counts as chain 2, which counts as our first single crochet. So you now want to work 1 single crochet into every single stitch. So just into every single stitch along, work a single crochet. This is a very, very easy round. Okay, so I have just worked that all the way along, so just 1 single crochet into each stitch, and even in the corners I just did 1 single crochet into every single stitch. And you get this nice corner here as we did the 4 single crochets into the corner stitch in round 1, and then just 1 single crochet into each stitch in round 2. So now to finish off this round, we are going to do a slip stitch. So this is the exact same thing as we did to finish off last round. We are going to do a slip stitch into this stitch here. So here we attached a new colour and chained 1, which counted as our first single crochet. And into this stitch, you want to insert your hook into the stitch or into the top of the chain 1, like that, and then work a slip stitch. So simply pull the yarn through and then through again, and you can now pull your yarn out and your hook and cut your yarn and fasten off, and we are ready to move on to round 3 of our border, which is the final round of our blanket. So we are now on to round 3 of the border of our blanket, and this is the final round of our blanket. And I am already halfway through this round, and you want to do the exact same thing as we did for round 2. You want to attach a new colour into any random stitch, so attach a new colour in the same method as we have used for round 1 and round 2, and then chain 1, and that counts as our first single crochet, and then simply work 1 single crochet into every single stitch around. So into every single stitch we're going to do 1 single crochet. So this is the exact same thing as we did for round 2. So just work single crochets around for round 3. So I have just worked that all the way around for round 3, so that was 1 single crochet into each stitch, and I have come to the very end of this row, and to finish off this row or this round and also our blanket, we are going to do a slip stitch. So this is the same way that we have finished off the previous 2 rounds. We are going to work a slip stitch into the attach a new colour and chain 1 that we did at the very beginning. So at the very beginning we attached a new colour and chained 1, and this counted as chain 2, which counted as our first single crochet. So we are going to do a slip stitch into this stitch. So here is our attach a new colour, and this stitch here is our chain 1, and you want to insert your hook into this chain and then work a slip stitch. So simply pull the yarn through and then through again. And you want to make sure that you do that nice and tight, as this is the edge of our blanket. If you don't do it tight, you might end up with a lump. So do it nice and tight, and then pull your yarn out and your hook and cut your yarn, leaving a nice long tail to weave into your blanket. And once you have weaved all of your ends nice and securely into your blanket using a yarn needle, you have finished. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos, and thanks again for watching. Bye!